chief priests and the scribes were looking for a way to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him.
Not during the festival. People will riot.
One of the 12, Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests.
What will you give me to place him into your hands?
They promised Judas 30 pieces of silver, and he began to look for an opportunity to betray Jesus. On day 1 of unleavened bread, when the Passover lamb was killed, Jesus said to Peter and John,
"Go and prepare the Passover for us to eat."
They went and found everything as Jesus had told them, and they prepared the Passover. When everything was ready, Jesus sat down with the apostles. During the meal, Jesus took the bread, he spoke a blessing, broke it, and gave it to the disciples.
"Take, eat. This is my body."
Then he took the cup, gave thanks, and gave it to them.
"Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. Certainly I will not drink of this fruit of the vine again until I drink it fresh with you in my Father's kingdom."
After singing a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives.
"You will all desert me tonight, for it is written, 'I will strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered.' But after I am raised up, I will go before you to Galilee."
Even though all desert you, I will not.
"Peter, I tell you, this very night, before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times.
Even though I must die with you, I will not desert you."
All of them said the same thing.
Jesus and his disciples came to a place called Gethsemane.
"Sit here while I go and pray over there."
He took along Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee and began to be overcome with grief and anguish.
"I am overwhelmed with grief. Stay here and keep watch with me."
Going on a little farther, he fell on the ground and prayed.
"Oh, my Father, if it is possible, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but your will be done."
Then he came back to the disciples and found them asleep. He said to Peter,
"Couldn't you stay awake with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you are not tempted. The spirit may be willing, but the flesh is weak."
Jesus went off a second time and prayed.
"Oh, my Father, if this cup cannot pass unless I drink it, your will be done."
Jesus came back again and found them asleep, for their eyes were heavy. So he left them, went away again, and prayed for the 3rd time with the same words. Then he came back to the disciples.
"Sleeping on, taking your rest? The time has come for the Son of Man to be betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let us be on our way. My betrayer is at hand."
As Jesus was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a crowd bearing swords and clubs, for the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. The betrayers had set up a signal for them.
"The one I will kiss is he. Seize him and take him away securely."
As soon as Judas arrived, he went up to Jesus and said,
"Rabbi,"
and kissed him. Then they seized Jesus and held him. But one of those who stood near drew a sword and struck the high priest's slave, cutting off his ear.
"Did you come out with clubs and swords as if I were a thief? I was with you in the temple teaching day after day, and you did not lay a hand on me. But let the scriptures be fulfilled."
Then all the disciples deserted him and fled.
Jesus and led him away to the high priest's house. Peter followed at a distance. A fire was kindled in the middle of the courtyard, and they sat down around it, Peter among them. When a servant girl saw him in the firelight, she stared at him.
This man was also with him.
Woman, I do not know him.
A bit later, someone else noticed Peter and said,
Aren't you also one of them?
I am not.
After about an hour, still another insisted.
I'm sure this man also was with him, for he is a Galilean.
I don't know what you're talking about.
As he was still speaking, the cock crowed. The Lord turned and looked at Peter. Peter remembered what the Lord had said.
Before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times.
Then Peter went out and wept bitter tears. At the break of day, the elders of the people, both chief priests and scribes, gathered and brought Jesus to their council.
Are you the Messiah? Tell us.
If I tell you, you will not believe me. And if I question you, you will not answer me. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the Almighty God.
Then you are the Son of God.
You say that I am.
What further witnesses are needed? We ourselves have heard it from his own lips.
The men who were holding Jesus began to mock him and beat him. Then they blindfolded him and would strike him and ask.
Prophesy. Who struck you?
And they assaulted him in other ways. Early morning, the chief priests consulted with the elders and scribes and the whole council. They bound Jesus and led him away to hand him over to Pilate. Pilate asked him,
Are you the king of the Jews?
You say so.
The chief priests kept on accusing Jesus of many things.
Don't you have an answer? Look at all their accusations.
But Jesus did not reply, and Pilate was left wondering.